Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? That task you know you need to do. It just sits there, and you just can't seem to start.
Yeah, the big looming thing.
Exactly. You know you should. Maybe you even want to get it done, but it feels like something's holding you back. It's got to be more than just, laziness, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's much deeper than that.
Well, today, that's what we're diving into. We're going to unlock some of the fascinating science behind why we put things off, how our brains are kind of wired sometimes to work against us getting started. And most importantly, we'll get into some concrete, really actionable strategies to help you push past that inertia.
That's the plan. We're really setting the stage for you today, looking into those neural mechanisms, from the ancient smoke detector parts of the brain,
Great.
all the way to the executive functions, the parts that help us plan things out. We pulling together insights from neuroscience, behavioral therapy, lots of different angles.
So a real holistic view.
Exactly. So you can get a clearer picture of your own mind and, how to steer it towards action.
Okay, fantastic. Let's unpack this then. Our mission today, give you the knowledge, the tools to turn later into now. So jumping right in, what is actually happening up there in our brains when we're putting things off? It can be so frustrating, right?
It really can. And what's interesting is it's not just about willpower or lack of it. Researchers often call procrastination a kind of self-regulatory failure.
Self-regulatory failure.
Yeah. And it's often tied to things like impulsivity, those intrusive thoughts that just pop in and derail you. Basically, it often comes down to prioritizing feeling better right now.
Ah, that short-term mood fix.
That's precisely. Fixing your mood in the short term rather than sticking with your longer-term goals.
So our brain's basically looking for that quick hit of comfort.
You've pretty much nailed it. And the neuroscience, it really backs this up. fMRI studies, for instance, have shown that people who tend to procrastinate often have a larger amygdala.
The amygdala. Remind me.
So the amygdala is part of your limbic system. Think of it as the brain's smoke detector. It processes fear, kicks off those automatic fight, flight, or freeze responses when it senses a threat.
Okay.
Now, in procrastinators, it seems this amygdala can be larger. And not just that, but the connections between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex.
That's the logical planning part?
Exactly, the
Okay.
PFC.
Yeah.
Your logical analysis self-control center. Those connections can be poorer.
So what does that mean, practically?
It means you might feel more anxious about potential negative outcomes. It leads to hesitation, delay, even if the threat is just a difficult task, not something physically dangerous.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. So it's not just me being lazy, it's my brain maybe literally trying to protect me, even if it's just from an email I don't want to write.
It's kind of like that, yeah, an overreaction to the threat of something difficult or boring.
So if the amygdala is the smoke detector and the PFC is the logical planner, what's that battleground actually like? How does that play out moment to moment?
That's a great way to put it, a battleground. Because your experience is this constant interplay. The PFC is trying to do the logical planning, the self-control. But the limbic system, with that amygdala, that drives motivation, emotion.
Right.
And when that limbic system gets overactive, maybe it senses the threat of boredom or difficulty in a task.
Yeah.
It can kind of hijack the PFC.
Hijack that.
Yeah, it can sort of override the PFC's ability to plan and regulate, pushing you towards avoiding the task instead. And then there's another piece, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the VMPFC.
Okay, another acronym, VMPFC.
Right. And research suggests that when this area is hyperactive, it can actually interfere with your main PFC's rational thinking, kind of overrides that top-down control.
Making you focus on
immediate gratification, that quick win feeling, even if it sabotages what you know you should be doing for the long haul.
Wow. Okay. So we've got these deep brain mechanisms pushing us towards comfort, away from these perceived threats, even if the threat is just our to-do list. That leads to the big question. Can we actually change this? Can we rewire these pathways?
Yes, absolutely. That's the amazing thing about the brain, neuroplasticity. It's adaptable.
Neuroplasticity, okay.
You can reinforce new pathways. Every time you successfully push through and start a task, you're literally strengthening those connections. It's like carving out a new, easier path in your brain.
So action literally changes the brain structure.
It does. And even things like mindfulness meditation. Studies have shown it can actually reduce the size of the amygdala over time.
No kid.
Yeah. So we can actively work on recalibrating that internal smoke detector.
That is incredibly empowering. We're not just stuck. Okay, so if action can change our brain, that flips the script on motivation, doesn't it? We usually wait to feel motivated. But maybe we should just Act first.
That's exactly the idea behind behavioral activation, or BA.
Yeah.
It's a key skill from CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Like CBT.
And BA basically says, action precedes emotion. Your behaviors directly influence your mood and motivation. So instead of waiting for the feeling, you act. And often, the motivation, the positive feeling, it follows the action.
Action first.
Yeah, and it's crucial because life throws stressful things at us that can start a negative cycle.
Yeah.
Bad event happens, you feel down or anxious.
Then you avoid things, hide away.
Exactly, which makes things worse, maybe leads to more problems. BA tries to break that cycle by getting you doing things again. Specifically, things aligned with your values.
Okay, but what if the action feels too small? Like, does starting tiny risk making the big goal feel less important, or like I'm not really getting anywhere?
That's a really insightful question. And the key is anchoring those small actions to your values. What do you truly care about? Health, family, career growth.
Right.
Identifying those values acts like a compass. Then you translate them into concrete goals, short-term and long-term. BA also stresses scheduling activities that bring pleasure, like music, nature, and activities that bring a sense of mastery.
Mastery. Like what?
Things that involve skills or completion, fixing something, planning your finances, learning new recipe. These build positive feelings and that sense of accomplishment, even from small steps, because they connect back to what's important to you.
Okay, so connect the small actions to the bigger picture values. That makes sense. So, practically speaking, how do we actually do the work then? How do we get started when our brain is screaming, no, stay in bed? Because that feeling can be strong.
Oh, definitely. We've all been there. This is where practical habit formation strategies are gold. One really powerful one is the 2-minute rule.
2-minute rule.
Yeah. Start incredibly small. And instead of write that report, the goal is open the document and write 1 sentence. Or put on running shoes. Just for 2 minutes.
That's it.
That's it. It dramatically lowers the initial resistance. It gets you over that first hurdle, builds momentum.
That feels doable. It lowers the mental friction.
Precisely. Just
Yeah.
get started. And you can also make habits easier or more satisfying. Want to wash your hands more? Get that really nice smelling soap you like?
Okay.
Trying to save money by skipping treats. Okay, every time you skip it, immediately put that cash in a jar labeled awesome leather jacket fund or whatever.
Make the reward immediate.
Exactly. Humans love immediate satisfaction. So link it to the good habits. Habit tracking also really helps, marking off days on a calendar. Don't break the chain. That visual progress is motivating.
Right. The chain method.
And for bigger things, use the chunking method. Break massive projects into small, manageable chunks. This helps with focus, stops you from feeling overwhelmed. It aligns with cognitive load theory, basically. Our working memory has limits. Chunking respects that.
Chunking, okay.
And you can pair chunking with habit stacking. Like, after I pour my morning coffee, existing habit, I will review my top 3 tasks for the day, new habit.
Stack it onto something you already do.
Yep. And always remember, SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. That keeps you on track and lets you see your progress.
Okay, lots of practical tools there. That brings us to dopamine, though. We hear so much about it. It sounds like this motivation molecule, but it's kind of double-edged, isn't it? How's it messing with us in modern life?
Yeah, dopamine is fascinating. It's crucial for learning, decisions, goal pursuit. It signals what matters, what motivates us to act. It's like the brain's compass for reward. But modern tech, especially things like social media, games, they've kind of hijacked that system. Likes, notifications, little alerts that give us these instant tiny dopamine hits.
So it trains our brain to expect rewards now.
Exactly. It makes it much harder to delay gratification for the bigger, more meaningful long-term rewards that require sustained effort. It's like we're constantly seeking that next little hit.
A digital sugar rush, basically, making us less patient for the real meal.
That's a great way to put it. And this constant instant gratification can, reduce impulse control, make us easily distracted. This is the backdrop for that idea of a dopamine detox.
Right, I've heard that term. What's the real deal there?
Well, it's Dr. Cameron Sipa who coined it, describes it. It's not about literally detoxing from a chemical. It's a behavioral tool.
Yeah.
It's about intentionally reducing those compulsive instant reward habits.
So less mindless scrolling, more intentional living.
Pretty much. It's about mindful behavior change, not necessarily extreme abstinence. And people who try it often report things like, less resistance to boring tasks, more focus, better sleep if they swap screens for reading before bed.
Interesting. Real-world impact.
Yeah, and even companies use this. Dopamine Labs found that adding random rewards in apps, like you don't get a badge every time you run, just sometimes increased healthy habit frequency by like 30%. It's about using our reward system strategically.
So it boils down to being intentional, recognizing the dopamine traps and consciously choosing where we get our rewards. Okay. But often these traps, or just facing a tough task, triggers those intense emotions we talked about earlier, the anxiety, the overwhelm. When the amygdala flares up, what can we actually do in that moment?
Right? Managing those emotional responses is key. Think about a time you handled something tough successfully. You probably didn't just ignore the feeling, right? You engage with it somehow.
Yeah.
So there's a sort of four-step process you can try for managing that overactive amygdala. First, realize you're triggered. That's metacognition, thinking about your thinking. Notice the physical signs, the urge to react.
Step 1, notice it.
Step 2, let go of the story. Our minds spin narratives, judgments. Try to set that aside, just briefly, to get some space.
Okay, pause the mental movie.
Step 3, release the tension. Breathe. Quiet your mind. Simple, but powerful. And step 4, remember who you are. Center yourself on your core identity, your values. Your worth isn't tied to this one moment or task.
Notice, let go, release, remember. Okay.
And then there are broader tools for nervous system regulation, especially if you deal with chronic stress. Orienting is one.
Orienting.
Grounding yourself in the present. Look around the room, notice objects, textures. Remind yourself, I am safe enough right now. It acknowledges reality. Perfect safety isn't guaranteed, but you're okay in this moment.
I am safe enough. I like that.
Anchoring is similar. List concrete facts. Your name, age, city, the date. Pulls you back to the here and now. And validating your experience, telling yourself it's okay to feel anxious, it's human, fosters self-compassion.
Instead of fighting the feeling.
Exactly. Avoid what Dr. Howard Schubiner calls the 5 Fs. Reacting with fear, frustration, hyperfocus, trying to fix it instantly, or fighting the feeling, those just amplify anxiety.
Fear, frustration, hyperfocus, fix, fight, got it. Avoid those.
Cultivate compassion, acceptance instead. And don't forget somatic techniques, the mind-to-body connection, deep diaphragmatic breathing, slow, soft, through the nose, longer exhale.
Yeah.
That directly calms the nervous system.
The breath is powerful.
Hugely. Even something surprising like popping a super sour candy like a warhead during a panic attack can work. It gives your brain a strong, new sensory input to focus on, interrupting the panic cycle.
A sour candy. Huh. That's clever. These are really practical ways to respond when your brain feels like it's going haywire. It's not about brute force, it's about dialogue with your nervous system. So, let's pull this all together. We've talked brain chemistry, actions, emotions. How does plain old belief in ourselves, self-efficacy, fit into actually getting things done?
Self-efficacy is critical. It's your belief in your own ability to succeed in specific situations. It really determines the choices you make, how motivated you feel, how you cope with setbacks.
So if you believe you can, you're more likely to try.
Essentially, yes. High self-efficacy makes tasks seem less threatening. If you face a setback, you're more likely to think, okay, I need to try harder, or maybe I need a different strategy, rather than, see, I just can't do this.
And what's the ideal level? Should we aim to be super confident?
Interestingly, the sweet spot seems to be having self-efficacy slightly above your actual current ability.
Slightly above what?
It encourages you to stretch, to tackle challenges that promote growth. Too low, and you avoid challenges. Way too high, and you might become complacent or take foolish risks. That slight edge keeps you striving.
That makes sense. You need enough belief to take the leap, but not so much that you ignore reality. So if someone's feeling really stuck, low self-efficacy, how do they build it up? Especially if they have a history of, not succeeding at things.
That's the million-dollar question, right? The most powerful way is through mastery experiences.
Mastery experiences, those small wins we talked about.
Exactly. Every time you use that 2-minute rule, every time you complete a chunk of a project, every time you manage your anxiety using those techniques, that's a mastery experience. It provides concrete proof to your brain, hey, I can do this.
So the actions build the belief.
Precisely. Another way is through vicarious experiences. Seeing people similar to you succeed. It sends the message, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Mentors, role models, even supportive peers are important here.
Okay. And the emotional state matters too.
Definitely. Focusing on positive physiological and psychological states. That's where managing anxiety, getting enough sleep, celebrating small wins comes in. Feeling calm and capable makes you believe you're calm and capable. It's all interconnected action, emotion, belief.
This paints such a hopeful picture. By understanding our brains, using these small, smart actions, managing our feelings, we can literally build the belief we need to get things done. Okay, let's wrap this deep dive up. We've covered a ton today about the science of action and why we resist it sometimes. We learned it's not just a character thing, it's complex brain stuff. We talked amygdala, the smoke detector, the PFC planner, how the limbic system can kind of hijack things, even the VMPFC pushing for quick rewards.
Right.
But crucially, we got into strategies. Behavioral activation action first, tools like the 2-minute rule, SMART goals, habit stacking, chunking, managing that dopamine system mindfully.
Yeah, and those vital nervous system regulation techniques, orienting, anchoring, avoiding those 5 Fs when anxiety hits.
It really gives you a toolkit.
The main takeaway here is really about agency. You can influence your brain. You can build new habits. It takes consistent, intentional effort. Yeah. Small steps, being ready for discomfort, because that's often part of growth.
Every small action counts.
It really does. It's building mastery, reinforcing those positive brain pathways, and boosting that all-important self-efficacy.
You really do have the tools now to start, to make progress, and to get that insight that your actions can shape your feelings, turning later into now.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. As you go forward, think beyond just what you need to get done. Consider what core values you're actually living out with each small step you take. How might aligning your daily actions, even the tiny ones, with your deepest values unlock an even greater sense of purpose, maybe even more accomplishment than you thought possible?